The violent deaths of not one but two of Robert Kalosky's wives have left many people wondering, could it really be just a coincidence?
What are the odds of one wife committing suicide with a gun to the head and the other dying of blunt trauma to the head in the same house within 19 years?
That's
It's
probably something you don't see very frequently.
Based on this Facebook post from Robert, even some of his own friends may be starting to doubt his innocence. It reads in part, "Just to let everyone know I'm alive and well. Need to hear from friends, which I don't think I have anymore." One person standing by Robert, attorney Avram Sprecher.
What do you think the odds are he killed his first wife?
0.
Second wife?
You know, I really don't know anything about it at all except reading a small article in the paper.
Sprecher represented Robert in the wrongful death lawsuit filed against him by John Carbo. Carbo is convinced his sister Paula Kalosky was murdered and the crime scene staged. The lawsuit meant Robert would have to answer questions under oath about Paula's death, something he never had to do since cops ruled her death a suicide.
Describe that experience of sitting face to face with Robert Kalosky and asking him specifically what happened that fateful morning.
Well, he knew at this point that we had gathered the facts and we knew the case up and down. We were ready for this deposition and we had been waiting for it for a long, long time.
But their excitement faded fast as the questioning got underway.
Do you recall what time you woke up on February 13th?
No, I didn't recall.
Do you recall what your wife was doing when you woke up?
No, I can't.
Do you recall what you did after you woke up?
No, I can't.
Almost every question asked, the answer was the same.
Do you recall finding your wife in bed with blood all around the bed?
No, I have no recollection.
Do you recall whether or not you went into the bedroom and picked up a gun?
No, I cannot recall.
One thing Robert Kalosky did remember and was certain of, he didn't kill his wife.
Do you recall whether or not you shot your wife in the head?
No, I did not.
Well, if you have absolutely no recollection that morning, then how can you tell me here today that you did not shoot your wife in the head?
Because I know I did not.
And how do you remember that?
It's fact.
Kalosky also offered a reason why he may have had memory loss.
I cannot recall solely from the trauma, the shock, the upset of the day, the time.
Telling me that you cannot remember what occurred on that day because you were in shock?
I was told I was.
He claims an officer at his house the morning of his wife's death is the one who made the diagnosis.
What did the trooper look like that instructed you that you were in shock?
I can't recall.
Was it a male or a female?
Was a male.
Were you treated for shock?
No.
Paula's brother John claims Robert received around $400,000 following his sister's death.
It was a combination of insurance money, 401k money, money from the inheritance of my mother's estate.
But Robert claims the amount he received was far less.
What's the amount that you benefited from as the result of your wife's death?
I could probably give a guesstimate.
And it would be?
I'm guessing about $180,000.
Your innocence is $180,000?
Best I can guess.
Best of his recollection.
Right.
Could have been $380,000.
I highly doubt it.
Whatever the amount was, 5 years later, it was now all gone.
Okay, is that money still in your savings account?
No, it is not.
Where is it now?
Went with expenses.
Expenses? What does that mean?
Funeral expenses, upgrades, vacations with my son, other purchases, vehicles.
John Carbo believes Kalosky used the money to pay off his debts.
To the tune of $195,000 in credit card debt.
The wrongful death lawsuit never went to trial. Robert Kalosky settled for around $90,000. The majority of that money went to a college fund for his son.
With the settlement, do you believe you won that case?
I think that Mr. Kalosky, as far as what he might have had to pay in damages, won the case.
For John Carbo and Steve Reck, it was never about the money. They were hoping that the deposition would get the case reopened and eventually lead to charges. But But that never happened.
Have detectives at the Connecticut State Police ever asked to see that deposition video?
We've given it to them, but I don't know if anybody's ever watched it.
Now that his second wife is dead, they're hoping someone will.
I would ask the state now that his second wife has been murdered to go back to look at that video deposition, to look at the financial records, to gather all the facts, and to reopen Paula Kalosky's case.
It appears that could be what Connecticut State Police are now doing.
Has the Connecticut State Police reached out to you?
Yeah, I've had 3 conversations with the police, each conversation 10, 15 minutes. They asked me about the financials in Paula's case.
Evidence uncovered by Carbo did help to get his sister's official cause of death changed from suicide to undetermined.
Was that a partial victory for you?
Partial. Yeah, partial.
Robert Kalosky's attorney at the time claims the change didn't mean much.
I spoke with the medical examiner who did the autopsy, and he explained to me that this is not uncommon, that families very frequently come and argue for a change, and he told me the reason that it was done was that there was no suicide note and there wasn't, to his knowledge, a history of depression. That was it.
With so much suspicion surrounding Robert Kalosky, I wanted to give him a chance to tell his side of the story. So I stopped by the infamous home on North Moodus Road, where his 2 wives were both found dead.
Mr. Kalosky, are you there? It's Chris Hansen with Crime Watch Daily.
With FedEx notices piling up at the door, it was pretty clear that Robert hadn't been home in quite some time. And I can certainly understand why.
I got to tell you, it's pretty eerie standing outside the home where the 2 women, the wives of the same man, both died.
Attorney Steve Reck believes one of those deaths could have been prevented.
If Paula's case had been handled properly, would Sandra be alive today?
Absolutely, because Robert Kalosky would be in jail.
You believe that wholeheartedly?
Absolutely.
No, he could sue you for saying that.
He can sue me, but I'm immune if I'm telling the truth. And the truth is, he killed both of his wives. Come and sue me, Robert Kalosky. I'm ready for you.
Do you think this latest death could help reopen your sister's case?
My sister now has a voice, and people are beginning to at least listen to this case.
Carbo is hopeful that after nearly 2 decades, his sister will finally have her day in court.
I do believe that the facts that exist should be put before a jury. I mean, that's my understanding of our system. Let the jury make the determination if you don't know. And I would be very happy with that.
I'm Chris Hansen. If you like this story, make sure you tune in every day to Crime Watch Daily. You can find where the show airs in your city at crimewatchdaily.com. Watch it live or record it on your DVR and watch it at night. And to all those criminals out there, remember, we are watching.